All right, we are situated. So thank you all for coming back in here. I am super excited to give some additional updates that are specific to All Aboard Ohio and the movement within Ohio, including ways that we can get involved, and also some updates on our strategic plan for the next 2 years, which we're super excited about. This slide is a slight refresher. So this is our mission statement at All Aboard Ohio. We exist to advocate for the establishment, improvement, and maintenance of a robust transportation system across Ohio, and that includes expanded choices, not just passenger rail, but also local rail, streetcars, bus rapid transit, and intercity buses, micromobility, pedestrian access. We also aim to advocate for enhanced mobility and increased access across the state. To achieve that mission statement, we want to be guided by our values, making sure that no matter which decisions that we're making, we're acting within those set of values. Our first one fits perfectly with that mission statement: improve transportation choices for all. Like I said, we're acting on this to provide as many options for Ohioans and also people visiting Ohio to get around as possible. Right now, in a lot of different places across the state, if you need to get from point A to point B, our system has been set up so that there are only one choice for you. I guess two. You could technically walk 200 miles, but there is one choice, and that choice is a car. For me, that actually is not the freedom that we as Americans appreciate. And so that is one of the things that we are trying to do at All Aboard Ohio, is make sure that you as an American can have choices on how you're going to live your life. The second one is very important, and it's been the subject of today, right? Statewide collaboration. We're so proud of our coalitions that we've been building across the state, and we want to continue doing that both inside the State House, but then also across the state. The third one is community empowerment. So this is where we're so proud about our chapters, and we're going to talk a little bit more about them here in a bit. But making sure that every single individual in all of our communities across the state, from the big cities like Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, to our smaller powerhouse Cs like Crestline, we are all empowered to speak up for ourselves. And then lastly is being a catalyst for change. As we've heard all these statistics about the significant proportion of Ohioans who want this, but we need somebody to be the spark to make sure that 80% of Ohioans can push for this. And that's exactly where All Aboard Ohio wants to stand. Those values are guiding us then into our chief strategy, which is working to bring together stakeholders and influential coalitions to take advantage of that once-in-a-lifetime corridor ID program, which we've been talking about, to make sure that we get that state funding, right, that skin in the game that Joel was talking about, to move the program forward. And All Aboard Ohio is acting as a liaison in assisting our coalition to make sure that that happens. At the helm is our nonprofit board. So we've got an incredible board from all across the state. We're super proud that our board is representing the majority of Ohioans, the majority of communities in our state, and we continue to strive to build out our board to make sure we have representation from across the state. In addition to our board, we have two wonderful staff. We have John Esterly, who is our executive director, just leading the panel. And then we've got our incredible communications director, Beth Russell, who is probably fighting a fire somewhere. And she's been remarkable and instrumental in getting this summit planned this year. Beth also leads our communications team, which is our powerhouse team that has led to the proliferation of content that you see online, but also in traditional media as well. You may not have noticed, I think we've interacted so far with 5 news publications across Central Ohio, and many of their partner news stations have been picking up the story as well. So yes, that's incredible. We've also, on the next slide actually, I'll go, or take note of all these faces and be sure you stop by, tell them thank you. And if you want to learn more about how to get involved with the communication side, talk to any of them and they can get you looped in. But talking a bit more on our communications team, this is where we stood 1 year ago today at around 12,000 followers across our 9 platforms. We're now at 45,000 followers across our 9 platforms. And across those platforms, we've amassed over 9 million views in the last 12 months. So this is not just Ohioans that are consuming our content. This is people all across the country, which we've seen even in this room today. But it's also people all across the world. We've got a rail supporters list on our website where we ask people to type in their zip code so that we can see where everybody's from. And there's zip codes that I will tell you do not match the American zip code system getting typed in there. And I don't think it's just robots. So like French zip codes and stuff. So that's cool. Anyways, we have an incredible team, like I said, that are building out all of that content. And again, if that is something that you're passionate about, if you're a young person who likes to do the TikTok, look at me, see, I'm not Gen Alpha. So, but yeah, would love to get you looped in as well. Yes. Hashtag Ohio Rail Summit. Yeah. Awesome. And in addition, though, one of our rock stars on the communications team these past couple of months has been Reese, who's one of our interns within the All Aboard Ohio intern program. In the past year, we've had internships within policy, within marketing and communications, and within fundraising. And we're constantly trying to come up with new internship opportunities for many of our students to get involved. I know, can we get a raise of hands of folks who are here as students from different universities across the state? How about that? That is fantastic, and it was cool to see. It's not just Ohio State, which I'm a Buckeye, so I would be happy if this room was filled with Ohio State, but like we've got people from all across the state and all across the country, again, as students. So let's hear a little bit from Reese, one of our current interns, about her intern perspective.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharice Reese-Bush. I'm currently a graduate student pursuing my MBA with a concentration in marketing. I'm also the marketing/communications intern at All Aboard Ohio. I was very interested in learning more about rail and transportation, but also I wanted to make sure that I got some more skill set or understanding of what it meant to be a marketing or communications specialist under my belt. I am interested in nonprofit and corporate, but specifically at this nonprofit, when I stumbled across it, I was like, well, I wonder everything that they do. I wonder what that looks like, maybe campaigning, marketing, digital, whatever, everything that consists of interested me. So I was like, let me just go ahead and apply and just see exactly where that takes me. I personally think that when it comes to this experience at All Aboard Ohio, I've had a really great time. I felt very supported. I feel like the comms team has just been so amazing to me, so helpful to me, so open to like just hearing my thoughts and opinions, but also open and willing to assist me and help me in areas that I'm so unaware about or was unaware about, and now I'm more versed and everything like that. I've just been very grateful to have an opportunity to work alongside amazing people, especially Beth, of course. I feel like, you know, what she does and how she does that and how she just still cares about All Aboard Ohio while also navigating through her own life, just like everyone else in the comms team and everyone else at All Aboard Ohio. I just think there's some sort of like, you know, purpose within that that's just so different from other people, other nonprofits. And so I just feel like this experience professionally has motivated me a lot.
Well, there you go. So shout out to Reese. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any questions about the pros and probably cons about the internship program. I don't know. And if you are interested as well, we will be posting more and more opportunities on our website. I think it's like our jobs page, even though it's internships and volunteer opportunities as well. So check it out, and we'd love to get you more involved. We have chapters all across the state now. We are all aboard Ohio, all around Ohio. We have chapters in Athens, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Dayton, Toledo, and then 2 university affiliate chapters. One here at The Ohio State University, Buckeyes for Transit. I know we've got some of those folks in the audience today. And we also, at the University of Cincinnati, have the UC Urbanism Club. If you live in a town that is not yet served by an All Aboard Ohio chapter, reach out to Nathan, who is our chapter engagement leader, and he would be happy to get you set up. We're starting to build out kind of the blueprint to make it be as easy as possible to be a leader in your community, advocating not only for passenger rail, but then also getting involved with local issues like we talked earlier, bus rapid transit, regional mobility, those kind of things. In addition to those incredible chapters that are doing lots of grassroots advocacy work in their areas, we also work with an incredible slate of advocacy partners from all across the state. An example of something that we did with this team of partners is last year we had our Advocacy Day, where we met with over 60 senators and representatives in a single day, And we had folks from all across the state who were speaking out about the individual reasons why they care about passenger rail improvements. So as you can see on here, yes, we have small and mid-sized and large cities. We have metropolitan planning organizations. We have labor. We have universities. And we even have large businesses who care about bringing this to the state. So we have focuses in both the state side and the local side, as we've talked. I'm going to touch super quick because a lot of this you've heard now today. On the state presence side, we have a big focus on our engagement with the Ohio Rail Development Commission. So this is actually the sponsor organization. Just like Joe with MORPC, they're one of the sponsor organizations for the Midwest Connect program. The Ohio Rail Development Commission is the sponsor for the 3C&D and the Cleveland, Toledo, Detroit. And so it's incredibly important that we as advocates are showing up to make sure that we're pushing that forward with their regular commission meetings. So they're the ones who are literally charged with pushing both freight and passenger rail forward at the state level. Additionally, we've worked very hard on pushing for the Midwest Interstate Passenger Rail Commission, or MIPRIC, reentry, as John was talking about earlier. Another thing that was a big focus this past year is the long-range transportation plan in Ohio. So this is called Access Ohio 2050. They had engagement sessions all across the state, and some of these sessions we were getting 20 or 30 or 40 people showing up to advocate again for not just planning around the automobile in the state of Ohio, which was truly inspirational and something that a lot of even the engagement folks with Access Ohio were making comments like, all aboard Ohio is the reason that these are being fruitful sessions. Lastly, another focus on the state level is pushing for a passenger rail caucus in our state house. We have seen, like I've said, bipartisan support, both sides of the aisle, both in the House and the Senate. We want to provide an easy opportunity for legislators to sign on. They're not signing for money right now. They're just saying, yes, we believe in moving forward with this, and we think that that's a pretty easy ask that we can move forward with. Also at the local level, we've touched on a lot of these too. We've had some incredible announcements in the station improvement side of things. First is Oxford, Ohio. We talked about that new station. And Elyria, right? Not Elyria. Yes, got it. Okay. We're working on moving the station to their historic transportation center in the center of that city, which I know we're very excited about. And Margaret's been working hard there with ORDC and with our friends in Northeast Ohio. And then we've also been having platform improvements all across Ohio, trying to improve some of those accessibility standards, like we've said. We actually had this photo get sent to us from Representative Congresswoman Capter up in Northwest Ohio, where there's been improvements to the Bryan, Ohio station, which is one of the smaller towns up there with a stop. We've also been focused on local transit initiatives. We've helped to push forward the Cincinnati Bus Rapid Transit Plan, advocating for making sure they're deciding where the stops are going to be. Our members were at a recent engagement meeting where they were trying to put a stop in a place where nobody needed it instead of moving it from the center of a neighborhood. We successfully pressured that community council into making sure it's in the right place. That's great. Additionally, Columbus, we helped to advocate for getting funding for Link Us, the new bus rapid transit here. And in RTA, we've been pushing hard to make sure that their bus rapid transit that they're implementing also is following in these smart planning footsteps. For instance, making sure on 25th Street that we are not ruining it to allow a couple of parking spots, frankly. Also in Cleveland, we've been thrilled with new rolling stock that's been being purchased. And also we've worked with our friends at Cleveland State to make sure that the student pass stayed active when they were trying to deactivate it, which provides access for students to their RTA program. We've also been working hard, though, with other cities that I've not mentioned. I know there's been a lot of work in Toledo with TARTA. There's been work in Dayton with their transit agency and their metropolitan planning organization. And there's been work with rural transit development. Actually, just last weekend, a couple of us were on a trip along the Ohio River, and we were out close to Marietta. And we were talking with local leaders on both sides of the river. We were actually talking with somebody on the West Virginia side even, who was saying he is the county's emergency management person, right? And in their county, there is no rural transportation funded by the Department of Transportation. The only way you would get it is if you were going to the VA hospital, right? And he said that on the weekly, him as the emergency management person, which is he's just a salaried staff member, he'll get calls at 11:30 at night, and he'll drive 2 counties over to pick up one of his residents, one of his 8,000 residents from his county, from the hospital and drive them home. And he is hard at work in his county with his region getting that funding, and we're looking to help with that, right? Because that's going to impact folks on the other side of the ferry, which is why we saw him coming from the Ohio side as well. And if any of that stuff interests you, again, feel free to come talk to me. I'd be happy to get you plugged in. Another one that we focused on is public engagement. So this is making sure that All Aboard Ohio's presence continues to grow in the public, not just in transit-centric spaces, right, but also in places where there are just regular Ohioans living their lives. An example, I'm in the Cincinnati chapter, so my examples will be biased, but we're working to get to the major food festival, which we have, the Taste of Cincinnati, just handing out these maps, right? Another example, with our university chapters, we want to get little whiteboards to put up on the quads. One question, you have the map of the routes that could be coming. One question, would this improve your life? Yes or no? Think about how powerful that would be for anybody walking along the quad and they see 500 tally marks on the yes and like 3 on the no. Let's do that, right? If you're a university student and you want to do that on your campus, let us know. We'll get you the funding to make that happen. We want to ensure that people know, first of all, that Amtrak is coming through Ohio right now. We've talked, it comes at 3 in the morning, unfortunately. We're working on that. But people need to know that. The majority of Ohioans do not know that there's even a potential to get on a train in Ohio. And additionally, the majority of Ohioans do not know that there is a potential for us to make all of these routes that we've been talking about happen today, that there is funding available at the federal level, and we just need to lean in. With all of those members that we brought in our chapters and through our public engagement, we also put a big emphasis on our member development. So every month we have monthly statewide Zoom meetings where John has done a great job bringing in different speakers, not only from Ohio, but all across the country in the advocacy space, in the business space, so that you can learn more about how to get involved, how to engage, and how to be a better, frankly, engaged citizen, right? We also put on field trips like our Race to Chicago, where we partnered with our friends at the RPA. We had folks from our Cincinnati chapter raced folks from our Cleveland and Toledo chapters to see which of the trains was going to be more on time, we'll say, to Cleveland. They were both on time, but I believe that Cleveland was like 10 minutes early, so they won. Yep. And when we were there, we met up with our friends at the High Speed Rail Alliance. I know we've got Jordan here. We met up with our friends at RPA, and we also coordinated with our friends at Amtrak to make sure that that was a really fulfilling day where people could see the potential of a city that has robust rail infrastructure. We try to provide as many volunteer opportunities as possible. Again, a plug for our jobs page. And lastly, we're building friendships. I mean, some of my best friends now are from All Aboard Ohio. In the Cincinnati chapter, I'll talk again. We do happy hours after every single one of our monthly meetings and have made some great friends. Like Casey, I would not know you except for coming to these meetings. That's great. So with all of that in mind and that background, we'll do a speed run through our strategic planning now. So over the past couple of months, our board has reviewed our past year. We did an exercise called Start, Stop, and Continue, where we said, okay, what are the things that we didn't start that we need to start? What are the things that maybe didn't go so great that we want to stop? And what are the things that have been going strong that we want to continue? We revisited those mission, vision, and goals that I talked through at the beginning. And we did a bunch of stakeholder interviews. So every single board member was able to give their input, but we also talked to people from different elements of our coalition, making sure that it's not just a biased view from within the board. And from that, we've developed our 2-year strategic plan, which I'll give you a very high-level overview of today. And I'm happy for any of our members to come in and share in depth whenever you want. So first and foremost, this is not a surprise. We want to focus on championing Ohio's passenger rail future. We want to continue to push for phase 2 to make sure it starts, but then at the same time, we need to start strategizing for what phase 3 is going to look like. That in part is political, that in part is funding, and a big part of that is public engagement as well. We want to build and maintain this statewide coalition that we're celebrating today, this coalition of governments, of businesses, of community leaders all across the state, and specifically along each of those 3 corridor ID routes. I know that Joe was talking about this great coalition that they have for Midwest Connect, for instance. We want to sustain a visible All Aboard Ohio presence as well at all of these decision-making tables so that we ensure the average everyday Ohioan citizens have a voice when those decisions are being made. A good example is us being there at all of those Rail Development Commission meetings. Last, we want to maintain contingency strategies for if there's some shenanigans with phase 3. So we want to have plans A, B, C, D, Q, and F, right? Like every single plan. And so that's what we're working hard on there. Yes. Okay. Next up is strengthening our, that is right? No, I clicked twice. Okay. Yes. We want to grow our influence, visibility, and public support. So this is kind of repetitive, but we want to build a base both on the internet, but also in public of thousands of supporters. Right now, we've got 8,000 members of All Aboard Ohio. Why can't that be 20,000? We know the steps that we need to take to be able to get there because we know that the vast majority of Ohioans are in favor and would be happy to sign on. We want to expand our media presence, both in the traditional media and social media, and we want to expand our public engagement and education. We want to provide resources to train every single one of you as easily as possible to be able to talk to your neighbors about this. And so stay tuned for that. Our engagement committee is coming out with a set of YouTube videos, 15 minutes, how to talk about passenger rail succinctly, right? Lastly, we want to provide clear and accessible educational materials and presentations so that if you want to talk to your neighbors and you would prefer to have a printout, you can go to our website and print it out, those kind of things. From the organizational side as well, we want to strengthen our financial stability and our organizational foundations. So this is a couple pieces, but one, advocacy is not free. We've got a couple of paid staff members, but also every single thing that you've seen printed and posters and food, like everything costs money, right? And so we have to be responsible as a board, making sure that we are keeping our finances in check, and we're happy to talk to any of our members about the finances as well. It's important, though, that we are building out our diversified funding streams, including corporate sponsors, right? That business community that is in favor of this, we're doing work for them right now. And they're the ones that actually are making profit, right? We are a nonprofit. And so if they want to get involved and help to support the nonprofit who's doing a lot of this work, we're encouraging them to bring them forward. On that note, if anybody has connections in a business, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to Austin, who is our co-chair of the development committee, and we would love to get them plugged in. Additionally, we want to ensure long-term budget planning, both within the organization and within the state for passenger rail, and ideally increase our staff capacity, because right now the board is doing a lot of hands-on work. We're talking tens of hours a week of volunteer time, and we acknowledge that that might not be sustainable over the course of 10 years. Oh, good authentic Midwestern ope. There you go. Okay. Fourth, we want to empower our volunteers, chapters, and forming leaders. So this is our engagement committee, developing leaders in each of our regions who are trained and supported to do that local advocacy. We've established our talent pipeline. So the first step is signing up for our newsletter. Then it's coming to a chapter meeting, volunteering, becoming a leader, and eventually joining the board. We want to ensure that every chapter is empowered to be able to operate almost autonomously, focusing on local issues while also supporting the statewide goal of bringing enhanced passenger rail. And last but not least, we want to build and lead a multi-state passenger rail coalition. This has been the focus of today. We want to position All Aboard Ohio as the glue, bringing together all of those different groups, bringing together cities, planning organizations, businesses, advocacy groups, all together to ensure that this movement continues moving forward. And to do that, we're going to support our partner organizations as they grow capacity too, because we know it's not just within Ohio, it's also our partners in Indiana, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. And so making sure that a lot of the successes that we've seen in Ohio, we can reapply to all of our partner organizations across the Midwest and frankly, across the US. I've had the pleasure of being able to present on our successes in states like Oregon, Washington, Texas, Wisconsin. Like we're getting the message out and people are seeing that it's working here. And so we're like, why not reapply it everywhere? So with that, I want to end with one quick message from Ryan, who led with our rebrand about 2 years ago. That's when we introduced our beautiful branding, our new website, and our enhanced social media. So Ryan wants to share some words on reflecting on these past 2 years.
2 years ago at All Aboard Ohio, we launched our rebrand. And I think it's incredible because this is a 50-year-old organization. And to be that next group that it's been passed down to be entrusted with, All Aboard Ohio and all that it's accomplished and its legacy, and I mean, frankly, all that it will do, has been so exciting. Looking out at all the folks we have here at All Aboard Ohio, I know that all of them have been working so hard. And I think the reason that everyone sticks around is because we're seeing how excited everyone else is. When we launched that rebrand, when we started going big on social media, when we started putting out blog posts and really being present in the community, we saw the community open their arms and welcome us in. To the tune of 9 million views a year on social media. We're talking 40,000 people that just follow us for fun, 45,000 people when I last checked. You see that people are coming out because they believe in rail. And so I think when I look back on this, I think it's going to be the time that this happened. I think this one's going to be it, because the people are there, the volunteers are there, our cities and our coalitions. So it's not just a matter of, let's get people excited. It's let's go do it. And I think we're on the way.
So we've got one last item that we want to talk on before we head off to lunch, and that is remembering one of the individuals who helped to start this movement with Corridor ID a couple years ago. And I know Mayor Pitt's here in the front because a couple of years ago we were in Crestline being led by Aaron. So Aaron was our board chair before myself, and so Aaron passed away a little over, in the past year and change. And we have decided to initiate the Aaron Rosiello Award for Excellence in Advocacy to honor the hard work that she did, because she was spit and vinegar. She would make it happen regardless. If you were standing in her way, you were going to have a bruise. She really got it done, and she's gave us a bit of a kick in the pants to get to where we are today. So with that, we want to award this to one of our hardworking volunteers who has put hours and hours and hours, a tremendous amount of work into this organization. And lucky for us, he teed us off. So the winner of the Aaron Rosiello Award for Excellence in Advocacy this year is Ryan Pico for his hard work with all of the communications. And to award that, would Beth Russell, our communications director, come forward and maybe say a word or two as well? And Ryan, if you want to come up on stage.
You didn't really want this anyways, right? Oh, it is truly a privilege to introduce this award and to recognize the leadership and legacy that shaped this organization, and to announce our very first recipient. Erin Rosiello was a force. She was tenacious, she was dedicated. She understood better than most how powerful a legacy can be. She was a transformative leader, a passionate advocate, a mentor, and a friend. Her passion and dedication made this, what we have in this room today, possible. She helped shape this organization at a pivotal time, building on the work that came before her and pushing it forward in ways we still feel today. Erin's goal was not just to make an impact, it was to build something that would last. And that's what makes this moment especially meaningful, because it connects the past, the present, and the future of this work. In recognition of that legacy, we're proud to announce the Aaron Rosiello Excellence in Advocacy Award. This award isn't just about honoring one person, it's about recognizing the work that they carried forward and the responsibility we all share to keep building it. I cannot think of anybody who embodies this spirit more than Ryan Pico. Ryan joined All Aboard Ohio just as Aaron was stepping away. And the way their time overlapped almost feels like a passing of the torch. In just over 2 years, I'm going to cry now, Ryan's work has helped transform the look, feel, and voice of the organization. He's been a driving force behind All Aboard Ohio's rebrand and the architect of the Summit branding you see today. He hasn't just changed how All Aboard Ohio looks, he's helped change how it's seen, how it's understood and supported. He's quickly become a linchpin of this organization, and for me, Ryan has become my right hand, a trusted partner without whom I could not do this job. He has shown up with enthusiasm, with passion, and with pride in the work we do, and I could not be more honored to present this award to him.
Yes. No, I agree. Standing ovation for Ryan. I mean, just incredible. And it has gotten us to where we are today. 9 million views in the past 12 months. We are a movement. So, we have 2 more slides, just some announcements. That is all that is standing between you and the lunch that I hope is set up somewhere. Because I will admit I was not a part of setting it up. But thank you for whoever was. Outside, as you're enjoying your lunch, we have a couple of tables that are up, including our raffle. So within your sign-in packet, I guess we'll call it, you should have received some tickets. And these tickets you can use to enter the raffle for one of these 3 different raffles. The first is our All Aboard Ohio travel kit, which has a bunch of really cool exclusive items, All Aboard Ohio branded, for your next Amtrak trip or plane trip. And one of the things says, I'd rather be riding the train. So there you go. Second, we have 2 exclusive tickets on the America 250 Buckeye train, which will be, I believe, next weekend. So if you missed out on getting those tickets, we have a raffle there. And then lastly is a Cleveland, Ohio Amtrak sign, courtesy of our friends at Transit Gifts. They donated to us not only that one, but also that cool Columbus, Ohio Amtrak sign, which, who knows, might be the first one ever printed in the past 50 years. Feel free to take your picture with that one outside by the entryway. All right, now the important details. Lunch plans. Lunch boxes are outside the doors. We have vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options also available. If you need help locating those, I believe we'll have volunteers out there that can help as well. Recycling and compost are available. Please utilize those. And then also we've got some different activities after you finish your lunch. One exciting one is a letter writing station. We encourage every single one of you to write at least one letter that can be sent to members of our coalition to empower them and make sure that they keep the force going. They're on really beautiful postcards as well, so it's fun to look at and then write on and then put in the basket. Additionally, we have our shop where with some of the incredible merch that Ryan has helped to design. Go and check that out. We also, I think we'll have access to be able to order stuff from the website as well if we run out, which might happen. Who knows? And then lastly, we've got all of our different sponsoring partner organizations that are set up both on the entryway here and then in the little other room area. So with that, everybody, go and have lunch.